Hello.
Hello, hello. We're back for season 2, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Probably my favorite season. I love this season. I think I love it because of the villains. We get Spike and Drusilla and Angelus. So that's I think why I love it so much.
Yeah, it's a really good villain arc for all of
It
them.
is. Oh, I love it. But this is episode 1,
Mhm.
which is when she was bad. And I think we're a little bit in like the controversial camp where we really don't like this episode at
No,
all. Mm-mm.
I
And I
know.
know
She's just so mean.
so
So
mean. She's
mean.
so mean. And I know a lot of people are
Yeah,
like,
and then when she
"Mm,
does that sexy dance with Xander and she's like, I never thanked you for saving me. And he's like, and then she like does the sexy thing and she's like, don't you wish I would? And then she walks
uh,"
away. It's like,
right in front of
they
Angel, right in front of
saved, they
Angel
both
and
saved her
Willow.
life.
You both saved her
Yeah,
life.
Willow, yeah, and she knows Willow likes Xander,
She
and
knows
it was
Willow.
Angel who was just a
Hmm.
puppy dog in love with her.
I
It
know.
was just no reason for it. Like I
No. And it almost,
understand when she gets back from the dead, uh, and they have that big musical, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't feel
oh,
anything because I was in heaven,
mm,
and you pulled me from
yeah.
heaven." Like that, I understand her being, butthurt about. But this, she was
But even when
just,
she wasn't mean, like, she
she
wasn't
wasn't
like
mean,
no.
no.
She was
But
how she should have been in this episode, I feel.
yeah,
You
mm-hmm.
know, I know they wanted to, like, be like, this trauma from dying and being killed by the Master, and I understand that, and I think that would have been a great thing to show us. Because yeah, you're 16 years old, you were killed by a vampire and brought
Yeah,
back to
if she
life,
was
like,
like depressed or
or
like,
distant,
yeah,
or even
distant, but to be
argumentative,
mean,
but yeah, no, to be mean, and not just mean, she was like it was like if it was supernatural, I'd be like dousing her with holy water and
yeah,
like
like
putting
she's
salt rings
possessed
around
by a
her.
demon.
I'm like,
Like,
we need to cut her with
yeah.
silver quick. Like, this is not okay. She's possessed, obviously, she's possessed.
Obviously.
So no, I just did not agree. I think it was lazy writing. I think it was lazy writing to just have her be just like this mean Disney villain sort of like no, like show real drama. Show that she's yeah, like distant, ignoring her friends, maybe being reckless and just going out and like slaying recklessly or even just like pulling
Right.
back on the slaying one
Mm-hmm.
way or another. You don't have to be this horrible person that you're just like, oh God, it's not how I
They
want to
don't
feel
do
about
well with
Buffy.
having slayers and duress. I mean, they made
No.
Faith just go evil as well when she made a mistake slaying. It's like they just don't handle slayers and emotion. Like they
I
just turn them
think
evil, which doesn't
I
make any
think
sense.
they don't put like as much of an arc to it as they should. Like I was okay with
Mm-hmm.
Faith going evil. I just wanted to see more of like her progression to get there.
Right.
Not just like it was like one incident and then she's just like
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see her have more conflict with Buffy, more conflict with like feeling ignored, more of this. Like give me more of that so I believe it. When it happens, I believe it. As it is, I'm like, really? Much like this. Much like this. Like she
Yeah.
kills the master, everything's okay, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Ah, I have no soul and I'm going to be awful to everyone." Um, but yeah, so that's we don't like this episode very much. And it opens with actually Xander and Willow just like out walking at night. And again, I'm like, people, you should not be walking at night. You know what's out there. Buffy's not here. Why are you out strolling, along at night? And they're eating ice cream and
Yeah,
Willow
like
gets
if
like,
you live in Sunnydale, don't go out at night. Like
no.
I just feel like
Mm-mm.
so many people get killed.
Yeah, I feel like we would be smarter if we lived in Sunnydale and be like, it's dusk, let's get home. But it starts with yeah, they're out there walking and they're eating ice cream. And I forget what happens, but Willow gets a little like on her nose and they kind of joke around. And then it's like Xander's coming in to kiss her. Like I remember this scene being like, Xander, what are you doing? Like you know how much she likes you. Like, why are we even ascertaining this possible kiss? And I know hormones, you're a teenager, you got a lot of hormones, whatever, but I was immediately just like no. Like, so it's like you're a minute into the first episode, and I'm like, "Nope, nope, I don't want this, I don't want this, don't give me this, no." Um, and then they get attacked by a vampire, and Buffy comes back, and she kills it, she slays it. Um, you find out that she's been away for the summer, staying with her dad.
Mhm.
Um, and she does seem off, she seems, like, cold, um, a little distant, a little mean,
Mhm.
but, um they're happy she's back, and they said, "Oh, we buried the master's bones and had this ceremony." And, then it goes to her mom and her dad in her bedroom, and her dad's like, "Yeah, she's just not herself." She's kind of like, um, again, just she's like, "Nothing seems wrong, she's just not herself, she's super distant." Um, and then and then it goes to, like, her mom driving her to school in the car, and Buffy's just, like, staring out the window and not really engaging after being gone for, 3 months. And that I'm okay with, like, I feel like that's normal for, like, trauma, just, like, disengaging, not being there, just being, like, staring out the window and not being present. That I was fine with. I was, like, totally fine, like, "Oh, yeah, she's going through stuff, she's still got a lot she's going through." Um, so that I was okay with. But then, uh, what happened? She says something really mean to Cordelia, like, Cordelia comes up and is actually being nice, like, you know, for Cordelia, she's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna" something like, "I'm not gonna tell anyone you're a Slayer, like, don't worry." And Buffy's like, "Great, and then I won't tell anyone you're a moron," you know? And, um, Willow noticed that she was, a bit, like, harsher than usual. She's like, "That's not regular Buffy, like, this is, like" she's like, um, notices there's something wrong. Xander doesn't. Xander, who's, in love with Buffy, supposedly doesn't, like, recognize that, "Oh, this isn't Buffy, like, something's wrong." Xander just like, "Ooh, now that is a zinger." Um, but yeah, so she's mean to Cordelia, and then she says hi to Giles, she's kinda, like, distant with Giles. Um, and then, she's in her room, she's, like, going to sleep, and she has this dream that the master kills her again, and, Angel is in her room, like, she wakes up and Angel's in her room, and, of course, like, my little angel heart, I was like, "Oh, Angel." Um, there is a lack of boundaries there, I find, from Angel being in her room, just, like, watching her sleep, but their relationship seems to not have a lot of, like, boundaries in that way, like, physical boundaries. Um, so he's just, he just tells her, like, the Anointed One is, like, gathering vampire the Anointed One, the little kid that does nothing, is, like, gathering vampires to him and all this, and she's just really cold to him. She's like, "Is that it? 'Cause you woke me up from, like, a really good dream." And she just, like, turns over and goes back to sleep. And I was just like,
So mean.
"Oh." I know,
So
so
mean.
mean, so mean, and then, there is this kinda, like, soft scene where he's leaving, and he's just like, "I missed you." And then she turns around and she's like gonna say, like, "I missed you too," but he's already gone. Um, so, yeah, it broke my heart a little. I'm like, "Oh, I don't like that.
Oh, you're
I don't like
breaking
where
my
this is
heart.
going." Yeah. Lisa breaking my heart. Um, so then I think the dance that we hate so much is next, is when she just walks into the club and the most awesome song is playing. I don't know the name of the song, it's like,
Mhm.
"Ooh," it's very haunting. And she walks
Mhm.
in, and she's in this little dress, and she sees Angel, and she's just like, ugh, like, you can tell she's just, like, pressed about that. She doesn't wanna be seeing him. Totally opposite of why I would be. I'd be like, "Oh my god, Angel's here." Like, "My 3 months of trauma is getting a little better, thank you." Um, and immediately she's just mean to him, like, not even just, like slightly mean, like, Cordelia it's like Cordelia's meanness, you can almost deal with, like, it's kind of like if Cordelia was mean to me, said something mean to me, the same as she does to, like, the other characters in the show, I'd just be kind of, like, rolling my eyes or like, "Ugh, Cordelia," but
Right, because
Buffy's
it's
mean
expected.
it's expected, and it's just kind of I don't know, there's almost like a slight comedic
Shallowness?
Yeah, it's like a childness.
The
Like, it's like,
shallow
you're
meanness.
being back well, like a child too. Like, you're being back talked by an 8-year-old, you know?
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Ugh, whatever." Easy to ignore, easy to roll your eyes, easy to laugh at, be like, "Eh, it's just Cordelia." But Buffy's meanness is wicked. Like, she is like, if Buffy was mean
Mhm.
to me the same way she's, like, mean to Angel and them, I'd be like, "Ooh, I gotta go, like, cry in my closet. This is not
Right.
okay." So, Angel comes up and she's, like I said, mean and cold, and he's like, "What's bothering you?" And she's like, "Nothing's bothering me. I don't know where you get that." And, he was like, "Is it," something about, like, "Is it us? Like, are you worried about, like, us?" And everything you'd want Angel to say, to start this conversation about
Oh.
their relationship and where it is and how it's going, and she's like, "Ugh, could you contemplate getting over yourself? Like, not
It's
everything's
just
about
like,
you."
oh,
And,
damn.
I mean, in that minute, I was
Damn.
like, "Oh, Buffy, I, like, hate you so much right now. Like, please, like, you could say anything else." Like, and this is what I was saying about, like, the lazy writing. Like, she just goes straight to just, like, vicious, mean, and that's really not how a lot of trauma works. Like, a lot of trauma is just,
Mhm.
like, you just wanna, like, distance yourself. She's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. It's not about us," and then go on to the dance floor, or just
Right.
blow them off quickly. You don't have to, like, not just be mean, but act, like, so cold, just so cold, like, saying these things. All these evil mean things she's saying, it's like she doesn't, like, affect her at all. Like, "Oh, it's
Mhm.
it's nothing." Like, no, time for an exorcism, you're possessed, this is
Yeah.
not you." But then she does, like, the worst thing ever, which is take Xander out on the dance floor and, like, mate dance with him, and it's the most I wanted to just, like, bleach my eyes after the
Mhm. It's
scene.
like,
I remember
"Oh,
thinking,
stop. Please stop."
"Please stop, like, what is happening? You're hurting 3 people, your 3
All at
nearest and
once.
dearest besides Giles, and
Mhm.
all at once. You're destroying each and every one of them all at once in different ways. One, you know how Xander feels about you because
Mhm.
he told you at the end of season 1, so you're playing with his heart. 2, Angel is in love with you, you know that close to know that, so, like, "Oh, let's
Mhm.
break the heart of someone who's in love with me, who I'm also in love with, let's do that." And
Let's do
then
that.
the one that really bothered me, that got me the most was Willow. I'm like, "Yeah,
I
oh,
know,
like,
like, I can't believe she was willing to hurt Willow, who
I
in at this point
know."
is just, like, the sweetest nerd in
She's
all
the
of
sweetest,
existence.
and honestly, she is the best friend to Buffy. Like, she does
Mhm.
nothing but champion Buffy, even if she thinks Buffy's doing something wrong or whatnot, she still tries to understand Buffy. Like, Willow is, like, the best sidekick best friend. Like, she's just this good person who's completely loyal to Buffy and there for her, and it's like, Buffy didn't even take that into consideration at all.
Yeah.
Or she
Yeah.
did, she didn't care. She did,
That's why
like,
we hate
one
this
or the other.
episode. We hate this
Yeah,
episode.
that's why we hate this episode. And then she leaves, like, she finishes just, completely leading Xander on, and then leaves. And then Cordelia follows her out. And Cordelia is really the one who calls her out. Basically
Yeah.
says, and I love Cordelia for this. And again, it just shows,
Mhm.
like, the growth in Cordelia's character and that Cordelia out of everyone is there and can recognize, like, okay, something's going on with her, and
Mhm.
she steps up and says something, and she doesn't have to, like, she could just let Buffy, like, implode all of her friendships, like,
Mhm.
take away from everyone she loves, but she says something, she's like, "If you don't you're copying a tude or whatever, and, if you don't stop, like, you're not gonna have the loser friends you have." So she
Mhm.
says it in a very Cordelia way, but it's very like, it resonates. You're like,
Right.
"Cordelia gets it."
Mhm.
And Buffy just, again, like, blows her off. She's like, and, walks away and, like, puts her hood up like some Marvel villain and just walks away.
Mhm.
Like, "Oh my god." Yes. Like, "Oh, Buffy, please." Um
Stop, stop,
But
stop.
then, like, after she walks away, so, like, this people vampires, I don't know if we know they're vampires at the time, but they come and they kidnap Cordelia, basically.
Mhm.
Um, and then Buffy goes to at some point, she goes to the master's grave and sees that his bones are gone. So she goes to school and she immediately just starts blaming Giles, like, yelling at Giles, um, yelling at Willow because Willow just, like, softly just, like, put, like I don't even know what she said, like, I was just so angry at the scene, like, I don't even remember what was said, but, um, she's being totally horrible, and it's actually Xander that calls her out, and I was like, actually, Xander this episode, I was behind, like, this is before I knew Xander was gonna bother me in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this episode, I thought Xander was great, like, she said something mean to either Cordelia or not Cordelia, Willow or Giles, I'm not sure which one, and Xander just is like, "Hey, that's enough," you know? He actually puts his foot down with her and says stops her from, being awful, which I thought was really big of Xander, like,
Mm-hmm.
and he is really the one that she's not like, she did the dance with him and everything, which is, mean in its own way, but she's not being, like, really, like, verbally mean to him, which also bothered me, like, she is mainly, like, focused towards Willow, and that really got me, like, I don't like when, you have, like, a guy friend and a girlfriend, and then the main character is just meaner or whatever to the girlfriend. I'm like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like that. It just it just rubs me the wrong way. Um, but Xander basically told her, "That's enough," and, you don't know what Buffy's gonna say because it was, like, I think the principal, like, Snyder or someone came in and interrupted them, and then they find out that, they get a brick thrown through the window, and it has Cordelia's little wristlet thing on it, and says that, she was kidnapped, and they figure out by this time that, well, Giles figures out that they're probably trying to resurrect the Master with his bones, um so they know they're trying to resurrect him. They know they've kidnapped Cordelia. Buffy goes off on her own. She tells, "Oh, Willow and Xander, I can't worry about you guys. Like, not that you're getting in my way, but kind of you get in my way." So she goes off to find Cordelia alone, face these vampires alone. And Willow and like Xander, they tell her this is obviously a trap. Like, this is a trap. What are you doing? She doesn't listen to them. She goes off. Angel is there. She challenges Angel to a fight. Like, she's like, go ahead, like kick my ass or whatever. And I'm just like, oh my God, like Buffy. And Angel's having none of it. Like, he's so much more patient than I would be if someone I like really liked was just being awful to me. Be like, oh, I don't know if I can get over this. We're done. But yeah, he's like, no, he's like, I'm not doing this. But he stays with her and they go in and they find that it's not Cordelia, that it's some vampire Riss who is there. And that's when Buffy realizes, like, oh, this is a trap. Kind of like, duh. Um, and she goes back to the library and finds that vampires have attacked and kidnapped Giles. They've kidnapped Miss Calendar and they've kidnapped Willow. The only one they didn't kidnap was Xander, but he's beaten up pretty bad. And again, Xander, I thought this was a really good moment for him because he's like, I don't know what your problem is. And he's like, I officially do not care. He's like, if they hurt Willow, I will kill you. He's like, you could have spent 5 minutes working something out with us, but you didn't. You just ran off. Um, I was really proud of Xander there. It's like, especially the way they make Xander so much of just like a obsessed kind of puppy with her to actually like stand up and be like, no, this is your fault. Um, partially your fault, I mean. And so they go back to the vampire girl who's posing as Cordelia. Buffy tortures her a little, like takes off her cross and puts it in the vampire's mouth. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this scene. Um, Ruthless Buffy, like how this is how it should have been. Like this is how she should have been instead of being mean to her friends. Like she should have been like
Yeah, she
willing
should
to
have taken
just.
it out on demons,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So they find out that they need like the blood of the people that were closest to the master, which actually I think they find out before they all get kidnapped. Like I think that they read that or something. And Buffy had just assumed, oh no, it's me because obviously I was closest because he killed me. So it's like the blood of the people closest to the master when the master died. And Buffy just assumes it's her, but it's actually the people who are physically closest to the master. So that's Cordelia, Miss Calendar, Willow, Giles. So they find out where they are, and they're all unconscious and hanging up over the master's bones, and they're gonna like bleed them and have the blood drip. And then these last 5 or 10 minutes of this episode, it's a great episode. This is where the episode is actually really good, which I think maybe some people who like this episode tend to think of these last moments, because if you just had these last moments, great episode. Like, she goes in, she with Angel and Xander. Xander goes up and kind of like frees, Giles and Willows and all them. And Angel and Buffy fight the vampires, and Buffy just like wails on them. She's just going off. She's getting all of that, dark trauma out. And when she sees the master's bones, she picks up this sledgehammer. And she just starts sledgehammering these bones and like turning them to dust. And it's just, and she's kind of like crying as she's doing it. And
very cathartic. I think that's cathartic. That and the sexy dance are the things I remember from this episode the most.
One really good, one really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, and so, she drops the sledgehammer and she's crying, and Angel is behind her, and she like turns around and cries into Angel's arms, and Angel just holds her. And that is, it's a great scene. It's a well-written scene. It's a beautiful scene. I loved how Angel was there for her, even after how she just like treated people. He was just there for her, and he's just like holding her. And all of the, Willow, Xander, Giles, all of them are just up in the rafter areas, kind of like looking down at them and seeing this moment of Buffy getting all of this like fear and trauma out on the master's bones. Wonderful scene. And then we go to the next morning where she's at school, and she's just normal again. It's just normal Buffy, like all the meanness gone, just washed away, like a river came and cleansed her. And she's like talking with Giles, like, how are they ever going to forgive me? I almost got them killed. And in my head, I'm like, if I was Willow, I would be more angry with you sexy dancing the person I was in love with than you almost accidentally getting me killed. Like, that's just like how I would be. But she doesn't even mention that at all. It's just, I almost got them killed, not like I was a complete terror to them. And Giles kind of gives her this like sort of pep talk, like, you're gonna make greater mistakes. Don't worry about this one. Like, he means so well. It just didn't come out that way. And so she goes off and meets Xander and Willow, who are sitting in class, and Xander and Willow, and she's kind of hesitant about it, but Xander and Willow just immediately go into just, friend mode. Like, oh, Buffy, we saved you a seat, oh, so are we doing the bronze tonight? And Xander's like, oh, well, we could, grind our enemies' bones to like bread or butter or something, but we did that last night. So just this really sweet, cute moment that would have been a lot more sweet and cute to me if Buffy had not been so mean. Evil. Like, ooh, Buffy. Yeah, I just wish they'd taken it in such a different path. And I think you and I have...
it was a hard episode to watch. I think the ending was like, oh, thank God. Like the ending was a nice reset, but I don't feel like and the other part of the episode was necessary. Like, yeah, there's definitely ways to show somebody is really upset than having them be malicious towards their best friends. Like,
to be that sort of just cold. And they didn't even, even if they had her be that way, but then show that she was struggling with it, like after she did these things, like she felt bad, or something, like, but they just had it. She just did these terrible things, and she just did them, and there's not, I don't know, it's like almost like, do they not know real trauma, like whoever wrote this episode? Because this is not how
consult a psychiatrist and have them tell you like the process of like grief and denial and bargaining.
Someone in your life, exactly. It's just, it was like, no, let's just take her to the point where she's just horrible to everyone. Let's do that. That's her outlet for her trauma. And it's like, okay, let's not. That's not how it works. I would have loved it if she was just, like I said, like more reckless, or more just completely like disconnected from everything, like disconnected from the world around her, just kind of like in this fog and trying to like push people away. but push them in a way that's normal when you're trying to push people away, and you're kind of just like you just like distance yourself, and you're just maybe a little more argumentative, but you're not, you don't want to like eviscerate their soul with a razor blade sort of thing, because you're still a decent person. So yeah, and I don't think. And also, I would have liked to seen her maybe like apologize too. Like she wasn't even like, "Oh,
I'm
I'm
sorry. I was
sorry.
horrible.
Yeah, I was horrible. I was going through stuff, and I just didn't handle it well at all. By the way, Willow, I didn't mean to, dance with the boy you're in love with, and I know he's in love with me, but something. But no, we didn't get that, unfortunately.
Nope.
We just got them like forgiving Buffy like that, like right away. And you're like, I don't know. Like I said, last 10 minutes of this episode, 5-10 minutes of this episode, great, perfect, loved it. First 40 minutes of this episode, I was like, this is a challenge to watch. I don't like this.
I know. It was cringe-worthy to see her act like that.
Yeah.
For the first part, because we love Buffy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we did not want to see her as a mega jerk.
I'm like, I want to root for the hero, and you're always rooting for Buffy, and it's like the first time I was like, God, I want to see like Cordelia just like smack you or something. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know. I really would have liked. What I would have liked to see was like, Willow standing up to her a little bit too.
Yeah,
I would have really liked to see that, because she was, like I said, she was pretty harsh to Willow. So I would have loved to see Willow. And I guess Willow kind of did, like right when Buffy was going off to find Cordelia on her own, but it wasn't even like standing up to Buffy for like herself. It was just like, this is a trap, like, you're gonna get hurt, like you're gonna get killed. But no, I would have liked to see that. And I really did not like how she just kind of she didn't really say anything mean to Xander. It was all like directed at like Willow and Giles. Like Xander kind of got excluded from her venom. She did use him with the sexy dance, so I guess. I don't know.
I hated that sexy dance so much.
I hated it so much. And you're just watching like the way the camera panned to both like Willow's face and Angel's face as it's happening. You just see Angel like I can't even imagine if someone I liked, let alone loved, like took
grinding on somebody else. Just
but not just someone else, like someone they're close to who obviously has a thing for them, and just like took them out of the dance floor and just like basically gets busy right on the dance floor. But like,
I'd be like, I'm done. I'm out.
I can't do this. Even if it's Angel, I'm like, I'm out. I don't care that you're hotter than the surface of the sun. I am out.
I still have your
my heart will not be trodden on.
Painted on my heart. Yeah.
The heart that you like ripped out and squished. No, thank you.
I think I would give this 4 bloody stakes.
Yeah.
I think
that's good.
I was thinking 3, but then I was like, but the last couple minutes are really good. So I guess 4.
Honestly, because my thing is like, it would be like 2 bloody stakes for the first half of the episode, and then like 5 bloody stakes for like the end. Maybe even 6 bloody stakes for like the end part of the episode. So I think 3 or 4 bloody stakes is probably. I'll say 4 bloody stakes.
Yeah. So a unanimous 4 bloody stakes for this
unanimous 4. Yeah. I like the end. I like that they made Xander a really good character in this episode. I actually like really enjoyed his character. So it wouldn't be surprising if I hadn't watched the rest of season 2. I'd be like, oh yeah. Xander's awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Goes downhill from here. Yeah, so that was our review of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
When she was bad.
She was awful.
Just skip the first part of the episode and watch the last part. Save yourself all the awkward cringing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so we're coming back with episode 2, which is the one, I forget what it's called. It's like the one with the multiple girls in body parts. Yeah. So I don't think I minded that one, actually.
The Frankenstein one.
The Frankenstein one. Yeah, I think I kind of liked it. Yeah. All right. So that is it for us. We will be back here later. Bye.
Bye.